it feels like the weight of responsibility is
Yeah.
higher. But at the same time, I also feel, and the reason I think that you get stunted is because the weight of responsibility is flipped. Like, what happens if I don't choose to grow?
Yeah.
What happens if we don't take the next step that we believe God might be calling us to?
Right.
Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might require a lot of change. And of course, grieving the losses of what was and the season that was. But what would my kids look like what will they look like 10 years from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if we don't make this decision?
You are listening to the Famous at Home podcast with Dr. Josh and Christy Straub.
Because when it's all said and done, we all want to know that we were famous at home. Welcome back to the Famous at Home podcast. Today, we're going to talk. And before we get into talking to each other, here is a word from our sponsors. Hey everybody, Josh Straub here with Famous at Home. We want to introduce you to the Famous at Home Starter Bundle. This is something we created just for you. All you have to do is click the button to sign up to receive our workbook, 7 Decisions to Putting Your Family Center Stage. You'll also get a feelings chart handout that you can implement with your kids and with your spouse. And you'll also receive the 100 Commonly Held Values worksheet so that you can sit down with your family and discuss the values that you want to set as a family that will provide vision for how and you want to lead your family in the direction that you're going to head in. So you get those 3 things right away as soon as you sign up. In addition to that, we will send to you our top podcast episodes on marriage, parenting, and family, the most listened to and the most foundational for developing emotional connection with your loved ones. You'll also receive past newsletters, our exclusive weekly newsletter. You'll be enrolled to receive that on an ongoing basis. These are real-time newsletters of what's happening in our lives and what we're doing and implementing to be famous at home that we want to give to you, just weekly nuggets to keep us equipped every single week. And then you'll also receive the weekly podcast episodes as well. This starter bundle is all free. We want to give it to you. Just click the link to sign up. Welcome back. So Christy and I have decided we're going to talk today because that's what you do in a podcast. And we're coming out of a season where I interviewed Christy in May around the Mother's Day time, where we've gotten so much feedback from you all, which is whether you're new to the podcast, whether you're listening, you've been a family member for a long time. We just reorienting ourselves here to where we've been. I interviewed Christy and just drew stuff out of her, and the amount of feedback that we got of, hey, listen, we want to hear more. We would love for you to do a series with Christy. We're all in for that. We are planning on that to happen. And so I want you to know that we've heard you and we're so grateful. And the other thing that I would encourage you to do is please go and leave us reviews, whether you listen on Spotify or Apple Music or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us reviews because that's how people learn about us and find out and want to keep listening. And so we don't do a good job of pushing the reviews. And so I just really want to highlight that if you've been blessed by this podcast, we would love for you to go and take a few minutes and do that.
And can I add, can you share it with a friend? I know that maybe sounds silly, but I realize that's how I find out about new things, and podcasts especially, or people are like, you got to listen to this. Send it to somebody if it meant something to you, because I think there's just something powerful about that when it comes from a friend, not because of anything we're saying necessarily, but there's just a really beautiful community of like-minded people, and I think we need each other. So
word of mouth is huge.
Yeah.
And then we did 3 episodes on fatherhood. I interviewed my friend John Tyson. Christy interviewed me on fatherhood, and that didn't get near as much of a response, but that's okay. I'm actually okay with that. But please email famousathome.com/podcast. There's a place there you can suggest topics and things like that. We love hearing from you guys and your feedback. And then last week we had Taylor Kalmus on, Do Dad, and just really emphasizing fatherhood through that month of June there, and just giving new ideas and ways to lead as fathers and what that looks like. And today we're just going to talk. We're going to talk about things that are going on in our lives, things that we're learning, but next week and the next 2 weeks, we have families on. We've told you guys we were going to do this. We have families on who we look up to, families who carry a glimpse. And in some ways, they're in the same similar seasons of life than us, a little bit ahead of us in the sense that their kids are a little bit older. And we look at their kids and we're like, man, whatever you've done, please let us soak in whatever it is that you have, that you carry, because they've done things differently. They've chosen to raise their family, to lead their families differently. And so I can't wait for you next week to hear from Jeremy and April Pryor. And then after that, the following week, we have our dear friends Mark and Tina Seago on. And I'm telling you, those interviews are just the insights, the encouragement. It's just awesome. And it gives you
so rich
new purpose and ways. And I hope that's what we're offering. I hope that's what Christy and I are offering, is new purpose and new ways. If you haven't subscribed to our email list, we highly encourage you to do that. We'll put it in the show notes, but we have this starter bundle that you can get, and it starts you out in different podcast episodes. But I've been doing a newsletter, a weekly newsletter. And in that newsletter, this past couple weeks ago, I wrote about being a glimpse. And, when you see people carrying a glimpse of something, it's like you're drawn to them. You're drawn to that family. You're drawn to that person. They carry something that it's desirable to you. And it's like, I want whatever. You just want to be around them because you want what they carry. Mm-hmm. And we want to be that for people. We want you to be that for people. We want this podcast to multiply the number of people who are being famous at home and that carry a glimpse. Their families carry a glimpse of something that's different than everybody else. That other families are going, I want to be set free the way that you're set free. Yeah. I want to lead my family the way you lead your family. And as you'll see from the Pryors and the Seagos, it's not that they're like this authoritarian, like you do it this way and this. It's humility that is key in this process, and the trial and errors and the fumbling through it, and that's what we're trying to figure out in our own lives. And we have, in many ways, we're on a journey ourselves right now. And you might see that in the newsletters. You might see that in even just the way that we talk about family right now. But we're in a transition season, and we're not 100% sure what that transition season looks like for us. But God's transitioning us to lead our family differently, maybe better, leveling it up differently, giving our kids different exposures to things. And I think even a part of that, and so one of the things I want to talk about today is even some of the books we're reading and even music that's influenced us, or podcast episodes that are influencing us, and just the people that are, the conversations we're having about what does it look like. Because the summertime's a great time to do this, I think. When, kids aren't in school, or maybe you stopped doing schooling for a little while, or you slowed it down, you just brought it back a little bit, that it's a good time to reevaluate. It's a good time to recast vision and to look at your lives and go, what is it about the way we're leading our family that just doesn't feel alive? Yeah. Or that feels like and I'll give you the language for us. It's almost feel like we've hit a stunting in our growth with where we live and how we do things. It's like God's calling us to the next level. God's calling us higher to do things differently. And in all transparency, we're trying to still figure out what does that look like, and pray through that without having analysis paralysis and without feeling rushed. Yeah. Thinking of the long game in mind. I think that's one of the things I've been learning, is keeping the long game in mind. But what decisions am I making today that are going to influence the long game?
Yeah. And I think there's a lot. There's so much you just said there that I'd love to talk about. Do you want to go somewhere first in particular? Where
did I want to go?
Yeah.
I mean, we can go to Aruba, Jamaica,
Bahamas.
Where do you want to go? Where are you going?
Actually, where do I want to go? Maine.
Maine would be a good place to go.
I don't know. Kennedy and I are on a Maine kick right now. We want to go to Maine so badly. That's probably from watching The Lost Kitchen. I don't know if you know that one. That's on Magnolia Network. Anyway, you talked about
where do we
want to
go?
Watching Maine.
Well, okay. Where do I want to go? I mean, what stood out to you in what I said? I think that's where maybe we should go.
Okay, when you get this place of stunted growth, pay attention, because I think that's where everyone, is this fair to say? Everyone, that's a bold statement. Let me backtrack. Looking at the lay of the land, I was reading in the Word, and I'm saying that because I can't even remember where it was now, where it talks about the wisdom of knowing the season of time that you're in.
Ecclesiastes.
I don't think I was reading Ecclesiastes
okay.
though. So I feel like that's where anyway, but just the wisdom, like you have to know the season of time that you're in. I think that means on the earth. I think that means in your life. But looking at those around us, those we get to work with, those that, we love and know, it's a lot of people are in transition right now. I don't know if you feel that for you and your family, where it's this stirring towards some sort of transition. And I think part of that comes from first discerning the stunting of growth or this stunting of life, like where you're just like, I'm desiring more, but I don't know how to get there. I don't know what that looks like. And I know so many people who just feel like they're in that place. And I don't know if summer does have, I think, something to do with it, where you have a little more time to maybe you might take a vacation and you are sitting on a beach somewhere and it's like, like it gives you that time to just sort of feel the tension or discern, like you have a curiosity or a desire about something. And that's how we felt the last, like it's been a while, where we've just sensing this, it's like fall, where it's like change is coming, the air is changing, things are changing. And I think that brings a lot of threat and fear with a lot of people. I'm not one who hates change. But I also have realized our families become somewhat established here and somewhat established in the way we've lived these last number of years. And the thought of shifting that or changing that significantly is ooh, I think it was different when it was just you and I, when it was just we're yeah, we're up for whatever. It feels different. The more you add to your family, the more rooted you become.
But I would say at the same time too, it's different because it feels like the weight of responsibility is higher. But at the same time, I also feel, and the reason I think that you get stunted is because the weight of responsibility is flipped. What happens if I don't choose to grow?
Yeah.
What happens if we don't take the next step that we believe God might be calling us to?
Right.
Yes, it might be uncomfortable. Yes, it might require a lot of change. And of course, grieving the losses of what was and the season that was. But what would my kids look like what will they look like 10 years from 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if we don't make this decision for whatever that is? Or what would they look like if we just stayed where we are right now? Yeah. And what will be the outcome? And I think we have to do an inventory of, we do this with coaching clients. Look at 10 years from now and write the ages of your kids today, each person in your family, your age today, all your kids outlined, and then beside it, write the ages that you will be 10 years from now. Mm-hmm. And look at that and go, okay, the decisions we make today influence what 10 years look like. And what decisions do we need to make today to make sure that the values that we want in our kids, the values we want in ourselves, what we want our family to look like 10 years from now, we're making those decisions today.
That is one of
So I feel like the responsibility goes both ways.
It is. And stagnation is lack of growth, right? And I think that very exercise every time, please do that. I say that as a friend to I've watched people, they just break down in tears. You see your kids' ages and your ages in 10 years, and that's like a breath. That's coming fast. And you get this this vision in your mind of how fleeting time really is. Even though the days feel long and we're in this, can feel like a hamster wheel, it's going to pass. And it's so significant. Just notice what that stirs in you. Notice what comes up. Is it grief? Is it longing for we got to do what comes up? and pay attention to that, because I think those are the things that stagnation, like we'll miss if we don't take action. And anyway, that some of that came up. I'm trying to remember all the other things you said in your intro. I think we've lived a lot of life these last months, and in really great ways. And I'm really excited for the interviews in the next couple of weeks, because these are families that have influenced us so much. And we actually just spent a long weekend with the Pryors, who are is that next week?
It'll be next week.
Next week's episode.
And you got sick, and so you couldn't be on the interview, but
sick as a dog, super sick. We had 3 weeks of sickness.
I don't know that our dog has ever gotten that sick.
He throws up a lot. He doesn't throw up a lot. Not anymore. When he was a puppy,
that phrase is just funny.
I know. It's like sleeps
I've never
like
seen
or when people say like sleeping like oh,
sleep like a baby.
I slept like a baby, and I'm like, anyway, that one actually really ticks me off. I'm like, our baby. Okay. Anyway, there's some unhealed places there. Okay, so my point though is, we were sick for 3 weeks. We passed around a stomach bug through the whole family, and next time we're gonna lick the same popsicle and just be done with it, because it lasted for so long. But spending that time with the Pryors, so we just went to their house. They just invited us to come. We got to just glean. They
model biblical hospitality very well.
And it was significant. I don't even know what you guys are going to, like, that episode talks about, because I was sick and I missed it. But I know what my time was like with them. And can I say some of my takeaways? Because I didn't get to say.
In a minute you can, yeah. So let me, let's take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors. And when we come back, you'll hear some takeaways from Christy. And we'll also get into some of the books and things that are influencing kind of what we're thinking and kind of the direction that we're going in. And for those of you listening for a long time, some of this will surprise you, but some of it might not surprise you either, in terms of some of the decisions that we're making and how what we're pursuing in that respect. But before we do, here's a word from our sponsors. Hey everybody, Josh Straub here with Famous at Home. I want to introduce you to something if you haven't already seen it. This is our new book, Famous at Home, 7 Decisions to Putting Your Family Center Stage in a World Competing for Your Time, Attention, and Identity. When a couple or a family comes to us and says, hey, Josh, we have a question. What do we do next? We always point to this book. This is our coaching playbook. This is the play-by-play strategies that we use to help families to be famous at home. And so if you have not picked up this book yet, we highly encourage you to get a copy. You can see a link in the show notes. You can click a link right here in the video, and we would love for you to be able to get a copy of this in your hands. If you want to go deeper than the podcast episodes, this is the way to do that. It's our way of walking alongside your family to help you be famous at home. Yeah, Christy, we did the interview already with the Pryors, and so there was some really solid takeaways. But just go ahead and share what you, and it might be repetitive, and repetition is great because it's the key to remembering.
Do you remember what I told you was my most significant takeaway?
Yeah, I know what your significant was. I'm pretty sure we talked about it. But
you did talk about it?
Yeah, I think so. But you go ahead and share it from your heart.
So I'm like introvert, extrovert. Definitely used to be more extroverted than I am. Probably because I homeschool. Meaning I need more time alone than I used to. But I actually don't even think that's true. I think I just had more time alone before. Now I don't. I'm never alone. So I probably haven't changed actually. I just need some time alone. But I've always sort of been on the line.
To recharge your batteries.
To recharge. I can go either way. I get really energized. We had friends here till like 11 o'clock last night, and that was so great. I can also go to events and be like, an hour in, be like, I'm going to have to nap for a week. Like, this just took me out. So I can go both ways. But I love to spend time with the Lord. I love to be alone for spots. And then I'm like ready to be with people. That's what I mean by I'm kind of on that line. But I was with the Pryors. Jeremy and April are both introverts, and yet they host all the time. They have people in and out of their home all the time. And I was like, so I'm like, please tell me, first of all, it just makes me feel like a failure. Like I can't possibly do this. I can't live like this. I can't invite people into my home that many times a week. I'm overwhelmed just thinking about it. And I think one of the most powerful things he said to me was that how carefully he protects his time, like how guarded he is over his time so that he has the energy to do those things. Did you talk about this?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did. Okay.
But go ahead.
And for me, I think, and as a woman, I think this is very different, that we are so trained to be like, say a host, if you're hosting people, to be attuned to the needs of everyone. Like, oh, they don't have someone to talk to. They're feeling left out. I should introduce this person and this person. Like you're emotion managing the room and realizing how much that sucks. That's why I'm exhausted after stuff like that, because I've been emotion managing other people. And that's not my job, first of all. Second of all, the freedom was, if I do that, it takes me out so that I can't be available to bring in, invite, host, love on. It could be hundreds, if not thousands of people. Like it takes you out of the game because you're so, this difficult person or this person who struggles, or brings in these needs, and you cater to that and get sucked into the vortex of that. Then then you're like, next week you're like, I can't have people, I'm not available. Like it took me out. And the stewardship of his time. And what's the book that he said?
When?
Did you talk about that on the podcast? No. Okay. So this is a book we have not read, but we want to read, and it's called When.
I don't know the subtitle.
I don't know the subtitle.
When. It's Daniel Pink.
Okay. So we're going to read that. So if you want to read that book alongside of us.
It's basically when your energy levels are the highest and what you need to do to make sure that you're stewarding your energy well.
Yeah.
We talk in the, building the kingdom of God, we talk about stewarding our money well. How are we stewarding our time and our energy? So where is our energies going to? And a lot of times what ends up happening is we don't understand that in our own lives, and we end up pouring out energies in places that are sucking it away in other places that could have big fruit for the kingdom.
That's it.
And you said it so well.
I thought you said that
we
better.
didn't talk about it next week.
Okay.
The way that we're talking about it now. So this is great. And I think that was really important, because even last night we had friends here at 11 o'clock, which was ridiculous for us. Like we never do that.
I'm in sleep by 9:30.
But it was so life-giving, and it was so, we weren't emotion managing anybody. I feel like it was just like,
well,
it was easy. The kids were enjoying each other.
It was so easy.
Yeah, because we shifted.
So it fueled us.
Yeah. And so, but in that process, you're going to offend people. People are going to they're going to come in with certain expectations. But then the next season of our lives is to create an environment. And that's what Jeremy was talking about. It's creating an environment. You'll hear that next week. It's creating an environment where people feel welcomed, but you don't have to, like, everybody has a role. Everybody has a part. And so even when you have people over, they're cleaning the dishes up with you. They're helping you finish cooking if you haven't finished cooking yet. The house is a mess by the time we leave, and they're helping clean up the house, because we're all part of the kingdom. We're all part of building this thing together, and no one activity should be put on any one person. And this idea of hosting, the way that we host in the Western culture, it's what Christy said. It's emotion managing people, and what it does is it makes you exhausted. And so yes, it's like Jeremy said, like, you're gonna disappoint people because they're gonna have expectations, they're gonna go unmet, and you might even offend people. But at the end of the day, I can't have my energies, and there's certain places you're gonna have your energies taken away, but that you don't want to. But how are you structuring your days? How are you structuring your lives in such a way that you know that, because the whole point is to build the kingdom of God. The whole point is to reach as many people as we can for the gospel. And so, and if that's our mindset, if that's our goal in life, now if our goal in life is to have a nice house and our goal in life is to rise the corporate ladder, you're not going to think this way. So it's a completely, you have to think about what is our goal as a family? What is our main mission as a family? And if our mission is to build the kingdom, then our mission is going to, we are going to pay attention to where our energies are so that we can reach as many people as we possibly can.
And that paying attention to when that tank gets empty, like it's not like we're not supposed to pour out. We are. But he also said he came to give us life to the full. And I think half of us are living on empty most of the time because we get like a little bit filled up and then we just, it's like running to soccer schedules and field trips and like you're just, everything is just emptying the tank. And so I think what I've also taken from it is being just very aware of what that does to my tank, my energy levels. I was at an event on the weekend and I realized it was good. I realized after it, I was like, I am done. Like I was done. That took a lot from me. I don't know what that means. It was just like, okay, that's information. That's really interesting. I'm going to be curious about that. Whereas, take last night, we have friends here till 11 o'clock. I woke up supercharged, yes, my body's physically a little bit tired, but like, I feel great. Like I feel so energized from their presence and from all of our conversation, hours of conversation. So just pay attention to that. Like that filled me up. And it was actually about the same span of time. Last night it was like 5 hours of talking. The other day on the weekend, it was about the same amount of time and I was done. So just to pay attention, and that like that's my responsibility. Like to steward my heart, no one else is going to do that for me. They have no idea. That's not their job. That's not even Josh's job. My job is to steward my heart. And that part of that is like the well springs of my heart and my life come in this form of, it's a transfer of energy. And I know people can get weird about that, but literally just energy levels.
100%.
And that is I just have never considered that I had the freedom and the agency to do that for my own life. And therefore I can make decisions, be like, actually, I'm not able to make it then. Or I don't want to go to that thing. Not because I have any other reason, but I'm not available because I'm going to be laying on the couch with my husband watching a movie or something. And that's perfectly fine. Like I don't owe anyone anything. That's another thing. Can I say that?
I don't know.
I'm just scrolling into the next thing. That was another deep revelation that the Lord just gave me after that was you are beholden to no one. You are beholden to your husband, to me, your husband and your children, and no one else.
Define beholden.
I had to Google it. I didn't know it, but it's basically like obligated to, owed something to. It's like I owed, this will get super real, text messages. I get we all do, a lot of text messages. I would feel so much pressure to respond back to people. And I just don't have the energy. I don't have the time. I don't even know. I have time. I could choose to do it. I don't have the energy.
You could make the time.
I could make the time to engage in all those. It's like, I look at it and I'm like, ugh, you all know, everyone knows what that feeling is where you're just like, ugh, the weight of it. Like, I don't want to respond.
And the fact that follows us everywhere that we go.
And it was like
people have access to us at any given time, and then there's this expectation that we will respond immediately.
Yeah, I was having a conversation with this group of therapists, and I was saying how there was this breach of like trust, I guess, with someone, and so I said what I'm upset about is that someone had access to me that I didn't want to have access to me. And I realized like a real boundaries conversation where I thought I had pretty good boundaries. And I realized I don't enforce them, or I don't feel like I feel like not nice enforcing them. And so that has been a real revelation to me, is that what even in Jeremy's, like, those boundaries, like he sets pretty strong boundaries. Like he doesn't see anyone before noon, before 12 p.m. He does not see he doesn't plan meetings or coffees, or if you ask him to get together, he's unavailable. And I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I think I have boundaries, but realizing how often people step over them and how awful that feels. And yet, and I think this is also how we've cultured girls, females, is like this toxic niceness. Like I have to be nice though. Like I can't be like unavailable or not respond or don't invite them or don't go to the thing, or whatever, and support them. And it's this toxic niceness that's not actually really serving anyone. It's not kind. It's not authentic. And so that's been my recent journey of realizing boundaries. Like I literally started reading the book Boundaries again by John Townsend and Henry Cloud because it's like a refresher of permission that you are not beholden to anyone. That's what the Lord said.
So not beholden so that you are available to the people that he's calling you to lead and serve.
Right. You're free. You're not like chained down by all these things
that are sucking the energy out of you to be able to then go. Yeah. And that's
which I feel like rolls into our,
and I feel like Jeremy and April lived that really, really well.
Oh my gosh. I saw that they were free. We got to because we got one of the kids got sick when we were there, and then I got sick afterwards, but while we were there, so we'd put the kids to bed and we'd go out on their big front porch and we'd just sit and talk. And one day after Sabbath, like their Saturday Sabbath, I was like, what'd you guys do today? Because we didn't, like, even though we're staying at their house, we didn't see them. Like we just did our own thing. Like it was so full permission to like just be. Mm-hmm. It was so, I'm like, I didn't know how much I needed this. I was like, what'd you guys do today? And April's like, mostly just slept. I was like, mom of 5, like, yeah.
And the freedom for them too, like,
they have people staying at, for all the women that need to just hear that. She had a family of 5 staying at her house. She has 5 children. They had hosted Shabbat the night before. They have game night Saturday night. All these people come over Saturday night. And I asked her what she did on the Saturday while she had all these people at her house. I mostly slept. Like, no obligation to get up and cook for people. No obligation to just like be host, run around. And that's why she can do this.
Now, I will say this too. Their kids are a little bit older, and they did say to us, and you'll hear this next week, is there is a difference between the season of life when you have younger kids versus when their youngest is 14 now. So there's a difference, but what they had to cultivate to get to this place where they are now starts when your kids are younger. Yeah. And so that's what we'll talk about next week as well. One of the things I was going to share for me that I think is it's challenging me and bringing me life all at the same time. I can remember, oh my goodness, this was pre-Christy and obviously pre-kids, reading the book Walden by Henry David Thoreau and just going, I want this. I want to live in a cabin in the woods and be not alone, but just simple. And I was with my friend Rory Feek a couple weeks ago. He hosts the Homestead Festival here in town. A beautiful, beautiful festival, beautiful, beautiful people that come to this thing. And we were debriefing together shortly after. And I was asking him, what it was like for him to lead this thing and what he's seeing and what he's learning. And a couple of the things that he shared with me, and one of those was this. He has great one-liners that really keep you on your toes. And he was the guy, by the way, that helped me get to the place of just dumbing down my phone completely with no email chasing me, no browsers, no social media or anything on it. And he said to me, because he's excited about where God's taking the festival and all that type of thing. But he said, I don't want to live in the comfortable. I don't want to be in what's comfortable because God doesn't live there. And I'm like, oh, that's God, or he doesn't show up there. He shows up in the uncomfortable. You really see him do big things. You see him show up in your life in the uncomfortable. And to me, that was like, okay, there's these little seeds of things that you start to get planted over the time. And that's one way, at least for me, that I hear from God is these little seeds, these little conversations that happen that are divine conversations over time. And I look back over the last number of weeks in my life and I look at these divine conversations that I'm having with people. And in that, one of his favorite books is a book by Wendell Berry called Jayber Crow. And I've been reading that book, and it's a novel. It is I understand why it's Rory's favorite book. And I love the simplicity of the life of this man and the story, the way Wendell Berry tells it through the eyes of Jayber Crow. It's Jayber Crow narrating his own life story. And it takes you back to the simple. It takes you back to, and Wendell Berry has an amazing, if you've never read any of Wendell Berry's works, I highly, highly encourage you to go read some of his essays online. There's a number of his essays online. There's a lot of his books. He doesn't own a typewriter or a computer. Like, he literally handwrites his stuff, and then his wife types it. He's just lives so simply. And I think of the decisions that we are currently praying through and making is a move more so to simplicity. And if you've listened to us a long time, you'll know that at the beginning of last year, we had Joshua Becker on the podcast, and we started just minimizing our house. We started getting rid of everything, and that decluttering, that minimizing has continued to happen over time as we look at things we want to get rid of, and we just want to simplify. Because what we've realized is a lot of these things hold weight in our lives. And so as Christy's talking about being beholden, we are beholden to things. Yeah. We're not just beholden to people, we're beholden to things. And there's a lot of things that we just keep hold of that are taking up space in our heart and in our lives and in our mind that don't truly keep us free. And I just think in a materialistic Western world, getting back to simplicity is really, really important. And you'll see that in these interviews in the upcoming weeks. And so for us, a lot of the decisions that we're currently praying through, talking about, making, that we'll continue to talk about in the upcoming weeks on the podcast as we do that and keep you guys abreast to what's going on in our lives and what is this living more simplistic, not beholden, but yet doing this also that we can advance the kingdom and be a glimpse in an even better and bigger way and lead our kids really, really well to mold and shape them 10 years from now into the young men and women that we believe God's calling them to be. And stewarding that really well. There's a number of decisions that we're making to do that. And we'll share more about that in the coming weeks as those things unfold. But I think for us to do that, living simply is a big one. Simplifying our lives, not being beholden, and then also, being, again, who we surround ourselves with is everything. Who we're listening to, we are the people we spend time with. And I hope that over these next couple weeks, as you hear from the Pryors and the Seagos, that you start to see a glimpse of the people we're doing everything we can to surround ourselves with. Because just like Rory was talking about, these people come to this Homestead Festival because they see a glimpse of what they might not be good at homesteading at all, but there's a glimpse of what homesteaders carry that people want to be a part of. And there's a glimpse of what the Pryors or the Seagos or maybe we carry or that you carry that other people want. And how do we keep continually making decisions that will allow us to be a glimpse, to build the kingdom of God and what he's calling us to in making all things new. Especially people need to see a different way of living in this hour, because what the rat race that we're running, the hamster wheel that we are on for so many people, it's like if you slow down long enough, at least this was me, I realize this isn't as fulfilling. Is this really all there is? No. I think there's a lot more. And the vision that God has given me over the last number of months, but also over the last number of years, to lead differently has given me more life. I've never been more confused about what's ahead, but I've also never been more excited.
That's so real.
And have more vision for what's ahead as well.
Amen.
You have anything you want to add to that or no?
No, I think simplicity, though, is just, that's for sure the word for us, or has been anyway. Realizing how much, and I think for me, getting off social media last like October, whenever I did, has been a huge factor in that. Like I'm finally able to think my own thoughts. I'm not so confused by like, she does. Oh, that's a good idea. Ooh, I need that because that's good. That looks like that's helpful. Like I don't have any of that. And sometimes it feels like a vacuum in a not great way. Like you're like, you need new inputs. So that's a one that I'm aware of. Like it's surrounding yourself with actual people that pour into you, and then reading great stuff, listening to great stuff that is inspiring. But separate all that. It's still all noise, right? So it's knowing how much you can absorb and is beneficial versus how much is just like dictating how you live. I look back, like I'm releasing all of our baby stuff right now, giving it to friends who have babies right now. And that was a hard thing for me because but I'm like, why am I holding on to this? Like most of it was new from Micah because I'd gotten rid of the bigger kid stuff long ago when I thought we were done. And I realized it comes back around. Like I have all these friends now that I've given this stuff to, like if I ever needed it, which I don't think I will, but I've learned to like literally never say never to God anymore. So, we have access to that, like freely give, freely take. Like I can give it and they can give it back to me if I ever needed it. But realizing how much old way of living I was still like, all of the stuff you had because you just thought you needed that was just unnecessary. And so simplicity has just allowed us to think clearer. Me anyway, I know you too, but and that pays off. Like that's just worth more to me now. Peace is worth more to me. And so that's what resonates as you're talking about it. It's so significant. We need to go.
We do need to go. So the
next couple weeks are going to be great.
The next couple weeks are going to be awesome. Priors, Seagos, and I will jump back in this conversation. So we got this week, we got the Priors, we got Seagos coming up, and then we will jump back in and share more about kind of what God's doing in our hearts and our lives in a few weeks.
If we know by then.
If we know by then what we're doing. But we'll be back in a few weeks as well. In the meantime, please let us know topics. Let us know things that are resonating with you, what you're holding on to most, what your greatest takeaways are from these episodes. We love hearing that. And again, don't forget to leave a review. Until next week, keep in mind that the greatest red carpet you will walk is through your front door.
Keep being famous at home. We love you.